How you doing? Good.
Columbus, Ohio?
Yes, I am.
Oh,
really?
Yeah, born and raised. You do a bowling over there?
Yeah, I live right there at the bowling center where I live.
What about in Dayton? You ever been over there bowling in?
Going over for free and what's the other one? Beaver something?
Beaver.
That was better.
What? Running? Okay.
How many have been watching? Do you know? 7, 8, 9, 10?
Goes to Facebook too, don't it?
Just YouTube.
YouTube, 6 cameras. You can just click whatever you want to watch. Put that much. A lot of renovations. It's really sure there. And then they found out they did traditional. So it's 3 different channels. I got 3 web browsers on the computer. 3 different channels.
You can block.
Hi, Daddy.
You can block. How people go.
Chicken salad.
They got small.
No,
You got the break here.
10 cents a piece.
Bowling fans, it's coming down to the wire here now. These are going to be single game matches.
Watch it on the computer.
Take place on games
It'd be at the same.
3 and 4, and 7 and 8. So I just kind of listen to some introductions here. Bowling on lanes 7 and 8.
They got
This gentleman calls Kettering, Ohio, his hometown. He's got 1 PBA50 national tour title, 6 regional titles. He was a 2016 PBA50 Rookie of the Year. How about getting it up for Mr. Eddie Graham? 300 shooter, lone 300 shooter so far. He'll be bowling against from Horseheads, New York. This professional's got 5 PBA national tour titles, 33 regional titles, folks. How about giving it up for Ryan Schaefer? It's going to be a great matchup there. Now, as we go to 3 and 4 for our other feature match, it's a proverbial David and Goliath match here. So we start off from Oxford, Florida. This professional has 47 PBA national tour titles, folks. It's more than anybody else in the PBA. 120 total PBA titles, folks. And to say he's on a hot streak is a little bit of an understatement. He won our regional just a couple weeks ago in Fayetteville before they went to the PBA Senior National Tour. As he went to the Senior Tour over here in Fort Myers, he won that also. And guess what, folks? He hasn't slowed down yet. How about giving it up for Walter Ray Williams Jr., PBA and USBC Hall of Fame. And then we go against, from right here in Cape Coral, Florida, folks. He's our wonderful host here. Let's give it up for Chris Keene. It's going to be a great match. All of you have been waiting long enough. We're ready to go. We're going to turn your lead on this time. 5 minutes of practice. We're down to 5 minutes. All of you can get keys on the monitor this time. One time, you'll start good practice play. There you go.
Good afternoon, everyone. Hope you've been following along. I am Tom Carter, along with my sidekick today, George Lewinsky. We are here at Lehigh Lanes in Lehigh Acres, Florida, for the 2001 PBA50 Lehigh Open presented by Chris Keene and Dennis Bush. We are in the final practice of the final four semifinals of this tournament. Started out at 9 o'clock this morning with 16 players. We are down to the final four, and the scores have been high. What have you seen today?
I've seen a lot of strikes from a great talented group of people. These pros have put on a show here that you would have to just imagine how good they are.
Well, the matchups that we have is Chris Keene bowling, the guy that has just won his 120th PBA title, the greatest of all time, Walter Ray Williams, and Chris is bowled absolutely phenomenal, and so is Walter. This is going to be a tough match. Chris qualified in this tournament 9th. Walter qualified 4th. But to this point, it's all been 3-game total series. Now in the semifinals, this is just a 1-game match for these two guys. And our other matchup, Ryan Schaefer, who qualified 2nd, and Eddie Graham, who shot 300 in the tournament, qualifying 3rd. And Eddie just came off of a block of shooting 783 to get to this point against John 3, 661, and Ryan Schaefer shot 812.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, against Tony Baker, 741.
And that 812 could have been bigger with a few breaks. So what a show.
Yeah, it's that time. We'll be getting started in just a few seconds.
Single game, hot and heavy, let's go at it. How about giving it up for one more time? Here we go.
Well, it's showtime.
Well, exactly. It is showtime. Looks like Chris is going to start the match off. He's starting off on the left lane. He's throwing what I call big balls. He's throwing that results solid.
And there goes a trip 10. Send a messenger over there.
He's
for
been
that
doing
thing.
that all day long. I mean, the scores have been huge. We started out this tournament with 72 players. We had 3 squads, 24 on each squad.
You know, they're new pins, and they are really reacting well. These balls that these guys throw are no match for the pins.
Well, I'm sure that it's probably almost hard to hear us over the crack of the pins because these things, when you hit them, they're loud.
There goes Walter on his first shot. No, surprisingly, a shot.
Yeah. Well, Walter did what he normally does. He took that black diamond. He threw some shots from the outside, and he's kind of giving Walter to the outside again, and that's not the place you want Walter to be playing because he likes it out there.
There goes Ryan on lane number 8, 9, 8, 10 pin.
We thought Ryan was going to shoot 300 in the semifinal match. He had 298. He threw the front 11. We did have 300 by
Walter.
Eddie Graham.
Strike. Yeah, he built himself a nice little area with his black diamond.
The only thing that could come into play, and I think the reason Chris is throwing that big ball is, and that mass is clear out on his VAL, so that ball just kind of rolls up. But he's got to get something to read that back in. And we're bowling on HPL 9000. It's 15 years old, and it's kind of a higher friction synthetic surface. And we're bowling on 46 feet, 23 mils, which 46 feet sounds long, but 23 mils isn't that much oil.
And it's buffed to 46 feet.
This buffed to 46. Chris coming back with a double, even match so far, but this is only a 1-game match. Like I said, it took 3-game series to get to this point. Now we're down to just 1-game elimination. Earlier, for Chris to get to this point, he beat Mitch Beasley 690 to 643. Then he beat Frank Gallo by a pin 685 to 684. Then he had to bowl the great one, Tommy Baker. He beats Tommy Baker 679 to 631, which brings him now. He has to bowl Walter Ray Williams, who just won last week in Fort Myers, the first PBA national stop to give him his 120th win.
Well, there's another strike.
Chris, the
of course,
three-bagger.
is a hometown favorite. He,
Well-
being a proprietor here at Lehigh Lanes with Dennis Bush and his wife.
This is it's a 12-lane center, and it is absolutely beautiful. It's clean. The food is awesome. If you haven't eaten here, you got to come.
Eddie with
But-
a double.
Chris and Dennis do a fantastic job with this place.
Walter with another strike. He has been bowling fantastic.
One thing you don't want to do is give Walter a break, and Walter and Chris are good friends. Actually, Walter Ray is staying at Chris's house so he could bowl this tournament. And the reason we had this tournament, we had 4 days to kill, so Chris and Dennis put together a regional for us, something to do in between our next stop, which is the Johnny Petraglia BVL Open up in Clearwater, and that starts Saturday.
This was put together at the last minute, and they filled the spots almost instantly. They had a waiting list. And on this particular occasion, only PBA members could participate because it filled so fast.
Well, this tournament, we call it a regional, but when you look at the names that were here, it was actually a mini national. We had Tom Baker, Walter Ray, Ryan Schaefer, Stoney Baker, Parker Bone, Ron Moore, Harry Sullins, Daryl Bauer, Jason Couch, Mitch Beasley, and we had Hall of Famers here. So this wasn't just your average little 6-game sweeper. This was a really, really tough tournament. And we have a tie match, 4 strikes to 4 strikes, Walter Ray and Chris Keene.
Ryan Schaefer's up on lane 8.
I don't know if you heard in the opening statement, but Sam Zurich, the regional director, called it the David and Goliath match because Chris has yet to win a PBA title, and this could be his first one if he can get past Walter Ray. And if he gets past him, then he's got to either bowl Ryan Schaefer or Eddie Graham, and both of those have had a hot hand all day long.
Chris's ball comes up high. Oh, he breaks up the split, though.
Chris almost leaving a split with the 4-7-10. The 10 falls late. should have an easy conversion. Ryan Schaefer with spare double. Eddie Graham started out with double spare. So we got a tight match on both pair, and our final match will be right in front of us on lanes 5 and 6.
Ryan's ball jumps. That's the 3-4-7, I believe. He's picked something like that up earlier, though, today.
Well, the 3-4-7 isn't your normal spare, but with this pattern, there's a little bit of wiggle outside if you want to swing it too far. But definitely, if you cut it short, it will go left.
There goes Ryan. Taking his time. Oh, we got 2 of the 3. That was a hell of an effort.
Yeah,
really.
You got the 3-7, missed the 4. Looks like Ryan's throwing a knockout. And same thing that Walter Ray is throwing, a knockout.
Solid 10 pin.
Yeah, but did you notice when he threw that ball, a little more hit on it and it bounced on the lane, so it might have checked up with just a hair early.
Eddie with a strike. So he takes an early lead.
Eddie is one of the smoothest players that you'll see out here. He's just very consistent. He doesn't come out as much as I think he should, but when he does come out, he's a force to be reckoned with. You know, we had 3 squads, and the squad equity was actually pretty good. We kind of went through the score sheets, and we just circled numbers, guys that shot 269 or better. And A squad had 13 scores over 269. B squad had 12. And C squad had 10 scores. So, I mean, as far as squad equity goes, we couldn't ask for a better turnout as far as scores going and players, you know, making the finals off each squad.
Walter with another strike. So he's taking 1 pin lead.
Walter going at 279 pace, Chris going at 278. Again, it's a 1-game match. We've been watching 3 games all day long in each match. And it just kind of dawned on us right before we started talking, like, oh, this is just a 1-game match. This is going to go pretty fast.
That was a surprise. You work all day, and now it's 1 game. Make it or break. There's Chris with a good strike.
Chris answered the call.
Chris has finished high in some PBA events before, but this is his chance to win a title. So.
Chris finished second in one PBA event. It was a doubles event with Tommy Jones. And unfortunately, who? Tommy Jones? Have you ever heard of him?
The guy that had 300 on TV. And then
unfortunately, Tommy, I had to pick up a 2.8 spare. And if Tommy picks that up, Chris has a national title. Unfortunately, Tommy missed the 2.8 and they finished second. So he's still looking for one.
Seems like the knockout is a pretty good ball choice at this point. That's what Ryan is throwing, and Walter Ray is throwing it as well.
That ball is pretty versatile. He's throwing that result solid. And that ball is rolling fantastic for him. I mean, Chris is a strong guy. If you've ever watched Chris, I mean, he's got forearms that are the size of most people's calves.
Over 500 reps. And for an older guy, that's pretty good.
A super senior. Super seniors are guys that are 60 years old. We didn't want to talk about that.
About his age like that.
So we had 2 800 shot this tournament. Eddie Graham shot 801. Then in match play just to get here, Ryan Schaefer shoots 812.
Walter with another strike. Wow, what a match, huh?
I think it's going to be 270, 270. It's going to be a high scoring match.
Condition is unbelievable. Unbelievable. All right, comes up shy.
Eddie kind of give Ryan a little break. Yeah. Ryan started out spare, double, had that split, but came back with a double. Eddie starts out with a double, spare, and another double, but that's 7 count. And that's, unfortunately, I hate to say anything about anything, but that's not the easiest spare to pick up.
Walter Ray with another strike, ladies and gentlemen. Wow.
That's what Walter does.
Yeah.
He strikes a lot. You don't get 120 titles unless
Gotta
you do
give
that.
Chris credit. He's staying toe to toe with him. Great bowling. Bowling the very best that ever lived, probably, or one of the very best. It's argumentative, but he's still one of the very best that ever lived.
After this tournament, we head to Clearwater, Florida for the Johnny Petraglia BVL Open.
He made a cameo appearance here.
Yeah,
Johnny was around. He's
Johnny
friends-
was around for a
he's
while.
Friends with Chris as well.
Yeah.
All right, one more.
Chris answers the call. I mean, this match literally could be 279 to 278. Well, Chris was hobnobbing this week because Walter Ray, like I said, stayed with him at his house, and so did Parker Bone. So you ought to learn something. You got two Hall of Famers living with you. You ought to pick up some
Speak to
tips,
your
right?
character as a person. I think rather well.
Mitch Beasley made the finals. It's kind of interesting about Mitch Beasley. Mitch Beasley has got a kind of a torn up finger, so he's been throwing 13-pound equipment. And these balls are so dynamic today. Even the lighter weights strike as much as, and he struck a lot this tournament also.
I talked to him for about 15 minutes about it, and it's looking like there's a possibility he needs surgery on his finger for a ruptured tendon. But the man drilled the ball where he just put his pinky and his middle finger in it, dropped weight because the doctor said if he goes too heavy, it could actually injure his pinky. But that man, through all that adversity, still performed exceptionally well.
Well, you got a little bit of experience about bowling balls.
I manufactured them for a while, and I enjoyed it greatly. There's Walter Ray with another strike. What a game this is.
Okay,
I'm so glad to be here watching this.
We're coming down to the 10th frame of this match. It's only a one-game match. If Walter strikes out,
It's over.
it's over. It's 279. Best Chris can do is 278. So we're down to the 10th frame.
You can't do much of that. There's Ryan with a
Right.
strike.
Ryan
Give him a
Schaefer.
turkey.
Yeah, Ryan Schaefer working his way back. He's down about 20 pins to Eddie right now, but he's got a three-bagger up.
Actually, could be a tie game. Oh,
Oh, he trips the 7-pin.
7.
That was what we might want to call just a kind of a light swisher.
Well, I'll tell you what, if your life was on the line and you needed one guy to throw it in the pocket for you, I think I'd pick Walter.
Well, he's not going to give up the pocket. I know that.
No, I watched him all. I watched him over at the National. I watched him over here. It's something to see, and he's a nice guy. He treats all the participants with kindness. He'll talk to anybody. He's a great guy. He really is.
Well, the senior tour, we're a little more relaxed out here than the kids tour. I mean, these guys, they still want to bowl. They still love to bowl. They still can make some money out here. I mean, you're not making a killing out here.
Ryan just tied it up.
Through a
Maybe
four-bagger.
maybe going ahead.
Walter needs this one.
Well, there it is.
All right. If Walter strikes on this shot, unfortunately, Chris Keene, who's bowled absolutely phenomenal the whole tournament, cannot win. He can lose by a pin.
Well, I tell a lot of people, you miss once against these guys in any way, shape, or form, you're at risk of just forget about it. You're done.
Eddie Graham coming back with a strike.
There it is. For 2 strikes, it's over. If Walter gets a strike, it's going to be all over. And Chris bowled one great game. There it goes. Looks good. It's
There
over.
it is. Unfortunately,
How sad.
that's
Happy for
too
Walter,
bad.
Sad for my
Yeah.
friend Chris.
Yeah. Chris bowled fantastic. Walter might be homeless now because he just
Guarantee
beat
you,
Chris.
Walter's buying dinner. I know that.
Yeah. Even though they're great friends, when you put on your bowling shoes out here, you want to win. I mean, you're not going to cut anybody any slack. And he didn't, and rightfully so, because Chris wouldn't have done the same thing. And Chris looks like he's going to shoot 278.
78, lose by 1. Well, Chris has had nothing but glowing remarks for Walter Ray. They're good friends. I golfed the other day with Walter Ray. He's a complete gentleman.
You should have bowled the tournament.
Me?
Yeah.
I don't want to be red leader. Age has taken its toll on this guy. It's Chris's ball.
Chris,
Another
another
strike.
strike. Chris is going to finish up with 278. It's going to be it's a one-pin match.
Yeah.
I mean, that's heartbreaking. You know, Chris is so close.
Yet so far. Well, that's a great performance. No matter how you look at it, it's a fantastic performance. Can't ask much more from a guy. 11 strike, you know.
And it was tough. I mean, we only had 6 games of qualifying. We bowled on every pair, and to make the top 16, you had to be plus 202.
There it is. 278
278, 279.
by 1 pin to Walter Ray Williams Jr. Wow. You can't
Well,
make it up.
no.
If you wrote the script, nobody believe it unless you saw it. Ryan Schaefer's on a string of 4.
Ryan can put some nails in the coffin on this match if he keeps striking.
And go figure that the end match may be Ryan Schaefer, National Touring Pro, against Walter Ray, National Touring
Well, like I said earlier, this was a mini national stop. I had the privilege of bowling with Ryan last week in Fort Myers, and I crossed with him. It was incredible. I mean, he made the finals. Luckily, I came back. I cashed. Kind of this tournament, I thought I was out, and I shoot 280, 237 the last 2 games to get back into the number. I was the number plus 161. I got a check.
You got your check.
Yeah. Might have been the oldest guy to get a check.
Well, that's okay. But the thing is, when you look at it, National Touring Pros are a different breed. You have guys that bowl, but these guys are just as they're living. This is what they've done their whole lives. Years and years and decades of experience.
Exactly.
They know what they're doing.
They make ball adjustments, line adjustments.
Subtle hand adjustments.
And that, I mean, sitting back here, you don't see. I mean, you can see a ball change, but line adjustments, hand adjustments, you don't see that. And they see the lane totally different than the average player. I mean, that's what they've done it their whole life.
They can control so many things that you can't visually see unless you really slow it down and analyze it.
Yep.
Ryan Schaefer is both fantastic today as well. I mean, this is a treat. It really is.
Ryan, your second, he qualified second in the tournament, and he is going to bowl Walter Ray for the title. I believe it's $2,200 for first place in this regional, so it's a pretty decent prize fund.
Not bad for 2 days. The pro-am was fantastic here, too. That was the pros that bowled in that were congenial to everybody. They had a great time.
Well, hopefully next year, if the schedule is the same, we get to come back again in between the 2 stops. It's been a real treat to come here with these guys.
And Dennis and Chris had put out a nice little spread barbecue made special for them that one day, and everybody enjoyed that.
The whole thing, Wes in the pro shop. If guys needed some equipment done or drilled, Wes helped him out. I mean, everybody went out of their way to make this a great tournament.
Wes and I practice together. We drill balls together, and we're good friends. We talk bowling. That's what we do. And we try different drillings and different things they say won't work. We make them work. And, we just have a lot of fun with it. We're at the age where it's enjoyment. It's
right.
Voyeurism, intellectual voyeurism, or whatever you want to call it, because we want to see if we could find that.
You're looking for the magic.
Yeah.
We're all looking for the magic. And this match is over. Ryan Schaefer shooting 254 to Eddie Graham's 223. We will have a title match between Walter Ray Williams, Hall of Famer, Ryan Schaefer, Hall of Famer. And coming up in just a few minutes, we'll be right back.
Sets up our championship match on lanes 5 and 6. We feature Walter Ray Williams and Ryan Schaefer. Once again, we give the players about 4 or 5 minutes to gather their thoughts, make any necessary ball changes, and go back the way with their official practice. 5 minutes.
Hey Tom, I told him the ring just went flying high. I said on the mic, I said, I'm sure you're going to do it. The ring really went. You guys are nice to meet. I said, you're cool to get a drive. Yeah. And I know they're watching. More importantly, guess what, Steve? I remember Sarasota was the same way. Yeah. In your own house.
All right, Bolton fans, the pros are ready to get underway with their practice for the final match. Turn the bowlers hit the button on your screen. There you go. You may start 5 minutes of practice.
Anybody listening?
There was.
Huh?
There was.
So this was 279 over 278 to get here, and this was 253 over 225.
Goes either one of the other ones, he wins. That's the way it, cookie crumbles. Run it, run
I think they're both throwing the same ball, both throwing knockouts.
I guess that was the ball of choice for the winners. I have one. I like it. It's good. Symmetrical. I looked at how they were drilled. Nothing fancy, nothing.
I call it a league drill. Basically, pin up,
Yeah,
map
pin
it
up, yeah. CG in line with the track, basically. They are things.
I ask you so. It's like your big rig out there. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love the car.
Oh, thank you.
I'd like to go and see what it looks like.
Wherever my wife's at. Oh,
No, never mind. I've seen RVs on going RVs.
Yeah. it's pretty nice.
My nephew's brother had one of those like you drive. And he got the parked up. It's beautiful.
I know. You ready? More of the same.
Well, we got about a minute left in practice before we get into our final match. Walter Ray Williams against Ryan Schaefer. Walter got here by defeating Chris Keene, 279 to 278. What a match that was. And Ryan Schaefer kind of faltered early in his match, but figured it out and ended up striking it for 253 over 225 against Eddie Graham.
Considering it was 253 with an open.
Yes, with an
There was a
open.
lot of strikes going on. Chris is a friend of yours as well, right?
Yes, Chris and I, we travel around in our RVs, going from stop to stop. We've been friends ever since Chris basically came out on the senior tour. I was out a year before he came out. And we all hang out together. And like I said earlier, we will be headed to Clearwater, Florida for the Johnny Petraglia BVL tournament. Right after this, actually, I'll be pulling out. I think Chris is coming up a day after. So, and we get set up and get ready for that tournament.
Where do you go after Clearwater?
Clearwater, then we go to the Villages in Florida. So we have 3 stops in Florida.
That's a real popular stop.
Then we
Isn't
go
it the
to,
Villages?
the Village is going to be a major, 192 entries. All of our stops are sold out. Then we go to Aberdeen, North Carolina. And right after that stop, then they have the GOAT tournament. Walter Ray, Norm Duke, and Pete Weber.
And GOAT is greatest of all time?
Greatest of all time.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know the acronym.
And then our final tournament in Centerville, Virginia. And the finals are going to be in a gentleman's house.
The single game, the world title, the week, all the accolades. How about giving it up for them one more time, Golden fans? Our biggest match. Good luck, boys.
That voice they're hearing, who is that now?
That is Sam Zurich, our regional director of the Southern region.
A great bowler in his own right.
Exactly. When I came out on tour, Sammy was on the senior tour. Sammy was just coming out on the senior tour, and he was still got a little crawl in my throat there. He beat me out for Rookie of the Year as a senior.
Welcoming. Is that part of the welcoming committee?
Yeah, it was part of the welcoming committee. Thanks for coming out.
Walter starts
With-
with what?
Gee,
A strike.
Wade finished up a strike.
Go figure. What it
Well-
must be like to be this good at something, huh?
And
Unbelievable.
his fire has never stopped. He travels all over. I mean, he goes to tournaments and he drives and drives and drives.
When I was talking to him, he said he just loves the competition. He just really loves it, whether it be the horseshoes or his bowling. It doesn't matter. He just loves competition. He's one of those guys.
He's-
Lion with a strike.
He's never lost a desire to win. You know, some of the guys out here that were on tour, you know, back in the 80s, like Walter was, you know, they've been out here for 30 years. They were tired of traveling and they've retired. But
You know one thing
not
Walter
Walter.
does? He broadcasts his own performances for his fans to
Yeah.
watch wherever he goes.
We're doing the commentary and he's broadcasting his own play-by-play there.
Which I think is very nice of him to do. I mean, like I said, he's been very nice to everybody. He's good for the sport of bowling. There's Ryan's ball. Looks good.
We got two totally unique styles. Ryan,
Both.
that kind of looks
Playing
like he
the
hits
lanes.
up on it and he spins the ball more.
Mhm.
And Walter playing not the extreme outside, but farther to the right and just firm up the back of the ball.
Straighter, which is, the saying, straighter's greater.
Yeah.
That seems to be the case last time, but only by one pin.
You talk about versatility. Well, I mean, Walter, that was way out a little
Wow,
farther.
look at
And they're both throwing the same ball. They're throwing a knockout. So one's playing in with a knockout, one's playing out.
which would be considered a moderately high performance ball. It's not nothing fancy core design wise. It's
You know, and people always ask about layouts and surfaces, and neither one of those balls have been surfaced. They're basically just out of the box, and they're just standard layouts. There's nothing fancy.
basically
keeps-
lane shining
yeah.
too right now. at
Yeah.
this point. What they call lane shine. All the
Walter's,
balls end up at 5,000 in the end.
Right.
You know, if you leave them alone,
Yep.
they'll have 5,000 on the finish, unless you resurface it, sand
But-
it. or what have
well, the big thing about the equipment today, the surfaces are meant to be changed to try to match up the pattern. You know, I'm still kind of the school that, you know, about 70% of ball reactions, ball surface to lane surface, the cores do come into play, but friction against friction makes the ball react.
I've
Yeah.
been asked that question. In my opinion, I would rather have the greatest cover on earth with the junky core, or what you could a sub, par core, than a great core with a not so good cover stock. It's
Right.
just that important. The cover stock probably is 70 to 80% of the bargain,
Yeah.
because that's the only thing touching the lane. And like you said, that surface, you start with it, whether you just want to go 360, 500, whatever the recipe is you think is required, that's really paramount. The drilling it gives you some. It is the extra,
Right.
cherry on top, but ball surface is it's most of the game
And what
and what you do with it.
And if you've never messed with or experimented with ball surfaces, that's something you need to do to find out kind of what surface really matches your game, and there's reasons for, more surface. Just kind of like there's a reason, because I'm
Another
from the
strike.
Midwest, to have snow tires on your car, right? That's
Exactly.
more surface. And depending on what you're bowling on, you
And I
got to
guess
have the
the
right
core
surface.
is the rim, huh?
That's it. That's
Kinda.
a good analogy.
Good analogy, because in the end, and if your tires out of balance, that's when you put the ball. Make it out of balance to achieve a certain wobble.
Exactly.
Create a wobble in it.
The key is to get the ball to go through the pins the right way so you carry. You can hit the pocket all day, but the wrong ball can hit the pocket and never strike. And right now we have 4 strikes to 4 strikes, and it's a 1-game match. So
Perfection.
we could have 300 to 300. Now that would be cool.
That would be something to remember for a very long time in this place. Wow. But this is what you get from touring pros. This is, you have to expect this from these guys. And are they that good? Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah, they
when
are.
they're on, oh, yeah.
Yeah, these guys, they can repeat shots. And when you bowl as much as these guys bowl, their muscle memory is really good, and their technique, as far as they shift what they're going to do. And if they want to change speeds or change wrist positions, they don't have to wonder if it's going to work. They know it's going to work.
And not only that, if they feel they're a little off at the foul line, they could do the foul line adjustment if they have to. There's
Uh-oh. That looked like it
solid
might.
7-pin.
Yeah, from my angle, it looked like it started to check up just a little soon, but you left a solid 7, so until Ryan throws, this could be an opening. Walter's got one of the most unique spare balls, I think, on the PBA Tour.
Probably one of the oldest, too.
It's got to be 50 years old. It's a black diamond, and if you look at it, it's been around. It's been beat up.
It's one of the hardest rubber balls ever made. And it works for him.
Well, point A to point B, straighter is pretty greater.
Well, he doesn't miss very many spares. I think he missed 1 this whole tournament, and he was mad over that. He was not happy with himself for missing the 1. So,
I think Ryan kind of heard somebody talking. Hopefully it wasn't us.
now is a phone. Somebody's phone went off. That's a shame. People should shut it off when they're here. There he goes. Another strike.
Front 5 for Ryan Schaefer. We had a match on Flow Bowling either a year ago, or it has to be 2 years ago. We had COVID 2 years ago, where a person's phone went off. I think Brian LeClaire was bowling, and I mean, it was a loud ring, went right off. And unfortunately, it was right in his approach when he's getting ready to let go of it, and he kind of jerked on it. It's terrible that stuff happens, but unfortunately it does.
It's kind of interesting that you spoke about the fact that we have a spinner, a guy who spins the ball with
Mhm.
lift.
Mhm.
And Tommy Baker did great, led the tournament with
Yep.
the qualifying spinner,
Mhm.
great spinner, one of the best of all time. And a guy that comes right up the back of the ball, but Walter can spin it if he wants to. Another strike, front six for Ryan
Well,
Schaefer.
it's kind of funny, Bakes led the tournament, and like you said, he spins the ball, and so does Schaefer. He was second. So
And
that says that it kind of
Stoney.
matched up to, and
Stoney
Stoney kind of spins it a little bit, and that says something about that roll really matched up to this
to
pattern.
this pattern, because this pattern doesn't have much oil on the back ends. It's hooking.
Well, that spin helps the ball get through the front part of the lane too.
Right. And then reacts well when it hits the dry.
Exactly.
And I think that's why the balls are drilled the way they are. So when it comes off the spot, and that's why they're using the ball they are. When it comes off the spot, it doesn't jerk. It's a
Smoother reaction,
smooth. It's a good
Yeah.
reaction, but it's a smoother one.
very continuous.
I was talking with Tommy Baker about it, his drillings of his bowling balls, what he preferred and all. And he said it's essential for a spinner to have a bowling ball that will get into a roll.
Mm-hmm.
And he said skid flippy stuff just don't, those kind of balls don't work. You got to have some distance from the pin, from your
Well-
axis and your track. I mean, and from the VAL, from
Right.
the valve.
Well, they don't need skid flip because they can create skid beat with a spin.
Mhm.
They create it's built in the release.
And then it's when it's on, it's deadly because it lays the pins down
Right.
pretty nice. They hit one another side to side, whereas a lot of forward roll can send the pins up and back.
Walter with a strike. So Walter started out with a 4-bagger, 9-spare, strike in the 7th. Ryan Schaefer, the front 6.
This could get a 268, I believe. And Ryan could still get a 300.
Well, there's still a few frames left. Anything can happen. You're not mathematically out of it yet.
Oh no, not even close. Anything could happen. We know that. I'm not wishing bad on anybody though. I love to watch good bowling. I really do. 10 pin. He's not going to miss the pocket, I don't think. Neither
player's not going to. It's just a matter if they carry. So at this rate right now, if they both strike out, it's 279 to 268. Ryan Schaefer's favor.
And against either one of these people, I surely wouldn't sit back betting on an open from single pin spares or things. Yeah, 1 mile. Yeah. Like I said, don't hold your breath waiting for him to miss a spare. It's not going to happen.
Now,
There is a 1 mile an hour difference between Ryan's strike ball and Walter's. But however, Walters is going straight down the lane, which it reads the speed probably a little higher.
Right.
Ryan is
the
swinging.
straighter you go, the faster it's going
Right,
to sink.
it's going to read it. So might be equal in the end, the 1 mile an hour.
The tape came
needs
off.
something. He
Yeah,
needs
the tape came off of his finger, so he's got to retape. I mean, feel is everything for these guys. I mean, it's got to feel the same. If it doesn't feel the same, you're not going to reproduce the shot. So, and when you talk about being a field player, a lot of these guys out here are field players. I mean, their setup's got to seem the same, and they talk about that on the tour, on the telecast all the time. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Your setup has got to be the same, the way you think, the whole 9 yards.
There's more to it all than what meets the eye once you get into it. At this level, there's a lot more to it. That's in there.
He kind of sawed them sideways on that one. That's
Yeah.
what those spin releases do. They just kind of like you said, they lay them down and pins just kind
You
of go
could just see
sideways.
it when the pins. If anybody's ever wants to get into it and watch it in slow motion, you could see when the ball's spinning, especially reactive ball, it grabs the pin for that little spit and lays it down. It goes side to side more. Whereas the ones that are more forward roll tends to drive the pins up.
Well, you got a round object, a ball. hitting the belly of the pin, which is round. And if you can lay them down and roll them around, they're going to hit other pins. You got a pretty good strike percentage.
But I believe that you could be like Walter, more accurate,
Right.
playing the way he plays. So you give up something to get something. You might have to give up a little accuracy spinning it versus pointing the ball straight like he does. But in the end, it comes down to the guy making the shot.
Well, don't get us, don't think that Walter can't hook it. He can hook it if he has to. But if they give him a shot where he can play your A game, he's going to take it, and he's going to try to stay out as long as he can. But I've seen Walter play in his clear to six there and throw it over the left gutter.
When he first went out on tour, he hooked it gutter to gutter, and he had to revamp his game because it wasn't working. And he decided to do this. And look at that power, a direct shot to the pocket, how much power you can have. You don't have to be a two-hander to have power.
No.
It does work. And, it's devastating when it's on.
Right.
But,
well, the game has kind of come down to evolution has hit bowling. And the two-handers, they got more speed, they got more revs, and it's always been about how many revs you got. That's all you kind of hear. What's his rev rate? What's his rev rate? Well, revs do make the pin mix, but when you're as accurate as these guys, the revs
he still has
nice.
entry angle with the way he's
Exactly.
playing it. He has the right entry. Ryan Schaefer with a 10.
That is
Now he's going to be in the 250s at best, I think. No, 209, 230. He could still shoot 260. Walter's going at a 268. This is we have the scenario that we had with Chris.
Well, Walter can shoot 268. Walter's on a 268 pace if he strikes out.
And Ryan could be on a 269 pace.
59. 259.
209.
29, 09,
59. Okay. Yeah, there is. 209, 220. Okay.
So that 10 pin.
I was hoping. That was wishful thinking for another 1-pin match.
You were trying. Last thing you want to do is hand
Last
Walter.
thing they want is me to keep score.
You really don't want to hand Walter another 11 pins.
No.
But to put some pressure back on Walter, if there is such a thing, Ryan definitely needs to strike out.
I think he's over it, if there ever was. There's nothing that man's going to. Mentally, I don't think you could do anything to him to change him. He's focused. It's all business. Ryan Schaefer knocks the 10 pin out. You're seeing it going out late. So.
He got the first one, but you can tell in his when he walks back.
So he pulled it. He said he pulled it on lane 6. It held, but it pushed the 3-pin into the 6-pin in a way where the 6-pin went around it and didn't take out the 10. So he's admitting that he did make a mistake and pulled it a little bit.
Oh, we are human. As long as you're breathing, you're going to make a mistake. The idea is not make very many of them.
Down lane, it might be a half a board, in 60 feet. That ain't too bad. I mean, really. It should be. Yes, it is.
Dead flush. So it's going to be 250 something. Now it's just up to Walter.
178. Well, if you don't strike, he loses, Walter, right? By 1 pin.
Yeah.
I got my
Walter,
math right that time.
You got your math right that time. He needs the first one in the 10th.
At least I'm not an ofer. Count is very important here, and he got them all.
Well,
man
he did.
performed.
He did what he had to do.
He did the best he could. Didn't leave
Now
much wood.
it's just up to Walter what he does on this shot.
What happens to the shots?
Well, Ryan knows where he stands. He knows he's the greatest in the world is up there. If he strikes,
If he strikes, it's
10 pin.
uh-oh, 10
Solid.
pin, solid 10 pin. 27-57.
Ryan Schaefer
Ryan
wins.
Schaefer is the winner of this match.
What a finish, huh?
Unbelievable. Ryan did what he had to do. He struck out the 10th, shoots 259. Walter just left a 10 pin, picks it up. He's going to go 247.
It was interesting when Ryan came back here and he told us why he was leaving the 10 pin. Something was working that he didn't expect to work.
Exactly.
And they're always learning. They're always figuring something out. They're always analyzing when the ball hits the pocket, the reaction. Who?
Walter, I mean, this is kind of a moot point. We just got to finish up the frame. But we'll go out and do an interview with Ryan and see what his thought process was.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Ryan Schaefer.
That to you and your buddies.
Thank you for
Professional. I appreciate the time.
sharing the mic with me.
Thank
It
you.
was enjoyable.
2021 champion, Mr. Ryan Schaefer. Second, say a few words along with the champions. So we're going to call up Mr. Dennis Bush right now, our great host here at Lehigh Lanes, and he's going to help present checks and trophies. So come on up, Dennis. And Walter, I know it's not easy to talk after throwing a couple of great shots like that, about 8 or 9 great shots on the road. But anyway, come on up and
Dennis,
say a few words.
Dennis is, I believe.
All right. Let's put this right here. All right. I know it.
Well, I'd like to thank Chris and Dennis for hosting us. Chris being the host.
I don't know how to operate that.
He was hosting you this week, so I appreciate it. And thanks for coming out and cheering us on. Ryan, great bowling. That was a good match like good. And unfortunately, we played good enough. Congratulations. Obviously, I'd like to thank all my sponsors. Without them, we'd be bowling. These skills for life, best students, high five, and vice versa. So thank you. Keep bowling.
Actually, this is going to be fun. Run up, Chris. We're going to have Dennis present the champions trophy, but we'll have to let you hand out the second place to Walter. This is quite a twist here for this event, folks. Great ball, Walter. Fantastic job as always. And folks, they're all heading up to the national tour, so root them on. Ryan Schaefer, 33 nationals makes 34. I mean, regional, right? 34 regional titles. And you just won recently also, so it's kind of like back-to-back wins for this gentleman. So, bowling fans, let's welcome the newest champion, Ryan Schaefer here.
Thanks, Sam. First of all, I want to thank Sam. He does a great job. He does all this by himself. Runs a great tournament. We have great regional directors. Awesome company, Sam. So, thank you, Sam. Obviously, great bowling, Walter, and all the finalists today. Beat Stoney Bakery at 7-4. He had to have 800 to beat him. So great bowling, Stoney. Eddie Graham's a great player. I had to beat him, which is never easy. Dennis and Chris, thanks for having us. I want to thank Brunswick. We had 3 or 4 in the final 4, so that's a great finish for our brand. And one of the most important things, if you look on the match news, you see the banners. I don't have a banner in the South. I've won 32 regional titles in the East, 1 in the Central. I got 1 in the South. There you go. So I got to pick my colors. Thanks, guys.
Congratulations.
I just want to thank everybody. First of all, congratulations, Ryan. Great match, great bowling all week. Thanks to all the fans that came out and watched. It means a lot. It meant a lot to us to be able to bring these pros and some of the greatest of all time here to Lehigh. So you guys can see it, you guys can be proud of your center. So thank you all for coming. Ryan, once again, great bowling. Chris, unbelievable bowling. Walter's sleeping on the couch tonight.
Oh!
Outside on the couch. Congratulations, Ryan.
Bowling fans, on behalf of the PBA, I'd just like to say thank you to all of you for coming out and supporting this great event. We had a wonderful event on well, it's usually Friday, but it was this Wednesday. We had the Pro-Am, got to bowl with the pros. Maybe next time it'll be even bigger and better. The great support here, the great staff here was really fantastic. The hospitality, Chris, Dennis, you give to the players is second to none. And we really enjoyed being here. And thank you, bowling fans, for coming out and watching. And we'll hope to see you again down the road. So have a great day. We're going to have a great weekend coming up.
Give it my best. I want to try and get out for one or two myself. I'm going to try and get this. What were they?
Hey guys, this is Dennis. Just want to say thank you all for watching the live stream. Thanks for all supporting Lehigh Lanes and supporting us as a whole. It was a lot of fun. We're appreciative of all of you for tuning in, and I hope you guys all enjoyed the show. I know we pulled for Chris pretty hard. He bowled a great match. Next time, if when you're bowling the greats, you simply can't miss. So once again, thanks to all of you. Thanks to Wayne, and especially thanks to George Dolinsky and Tom Carter for their help and their announcing of the final matches. Great job, guys. Thank you all. I don't know how to turn it off, Wayne.
See you later.
Thank you.